a lesser son of greater sires.
I think this is a good example of what I think of the Superman film. Is it a bad film? No, I think it's a good enough film to bring your family to and have some fun with it. I just think there's so issues within the film that keeps it from being great. I think it's a solid 6 out of 10 movie. My issues with the film are pretty much Lois Lane and Superman. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of romance there. Yes, towards the end of the film I felt it more, but I really disliked the interview that Lois and Superman did. You can see that in the trailers that they released, and it just feels just as janky and unnatural as within the movie. Superman doesn't feel like Superman when he's having the conversation. He's very emotional. That's probably the thing I would say actually throughout this whole movie. Emotion. It should be called Superman and Emotion, because everyone's emotions are just running all over the place. Where if you grew up watching the Superman cartoon or Superman uh, the Justice League Unlimited, you got the sense that Superman, although he's a caring person more so than Batman, he's a stoic figure. He is a rock, a solid foundation that everyone can cling to when the world is falling apart. I didn't feel that within this movie. I felt that Superman is just an emotional wreck at times, and that's fine if you want to have him vulnerable, absolutely. Especially when they do point out that he has been doing this for 3 years, that he's never lost a fight except until now, which, that's fine. If you're going to have a movie, at least acknowledge that Superman is Superman, that he's invulnerable, that no one can really beat him until this, one case where people were able to come out and actually beat him. And actually, the reason why they can beat him makes sense. I'm not going to say that in this review on why, in case you want to go out there and watch a Superman film in the theaters, which I do recommend. Like, this isn't me saying, like, you shouldn't go watch it, it's a bad film. No, I just don't think it's a great Superman film. I think it's an okay one. I think it's fine to get the DCU started if it's going up from here. My concern is that it's not going to level up as we continue with the DCU universe. You remember Iron Man? Iron Man was such an amazing film, and the films that came after it were just as good or if not better. And I really hope we have the same case here with James Gunn universe. Unfortunately, I'm holding my breath. We'll see what James Gunn comes out with. I have some hopes, but I have some concerns because there's not a whole lot that connects this movie, in my opinion. Just that I have questions here. There's an area where Lex Luthor enters a particular area, but there's no alarm that goes off that alerts people that something's happening. There's nothing that, gives our hero a warning that, hey, something is going on here until later on the film, which for me, in my mind, like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, especially if someone's messing with stuff, like, how can there not be an alarm going off? But that's just my opinion there. Also, I really dislike the way that they portrayed Superman's parents from Krypton. Now, in my mind, I think that Lex Luthor is just effing with everybody. Like, we never even got to see Superman run through the entire message. Like, he didn't get to see, like, what was the message that they recovered. Like, I just want to have a better understanding of what's going on here. Because personally, I think that this is still Lex Luthor doing a deep fake that's tricking people out about Superman's parents. I personally had an issue with that because in all the Superman media that I know of, Superman's parents wanted Kal-El to come to Earth to be a light to people, not this twisted version that James Gunn made. I personally had an issue with that. It's not the biggest of deals. It does help change public sentiment against him, but I have some issues with that. Now, what did I think about the monkey bot farm that they have going on there that everyone's talking about? I could take or leave it. It's one shot. It doesn't really matter too much to me. It just was a little bit outrageous. I was just like, really? Come on, James Gunn. What are you doing here? And the fact that Superman would be affected by that, I just find it a little bit unreasonable just because he is a journalist. He's dealing with comments on a daily basis. Like, yes, we all have words and comments that just get to us, but super shit? Really? That's what Superman's going to let get into him. Just that? I guess, possibly, but I don't know. There's just a lot of areas that I just did not personally like there. Now, an area I did like is I liked the Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion. I liked his portrayal. I liked his back and forth. Um, would I have used Nathan Fillion on Guy Gardner? Maybe not. Guy Gardner is supposed to be more of a hothead, and I didn't really feel like that from Nathan Fillion. I love him as an actor. Absolutely keep him in the film, but maybe give him a role that better fits him. I'm not sure what off the top of my head who I would give him besides Guy Gardner, so maybe I'm just wrong in thinking that, but I will change it up a little bit. Let's talk about Nicholas Hoult, Lex Luthor of the film. As I said, everyone's emotions just rain high, and that's to say the same for Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor just wants to kill Superman just because he doesn't like that Superman's getting all the attention, which kind of is in standing with Lex Luthor. But I don't know. You could have made him less whiny, a little less bitchy, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion on how I've handled Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, I feel like he should be like a strong man, like the peak of human physicality. Like maybe something like with the Rock's build and just an intellect to go with it. Just trying to be the peak of humanity. But the fact that he gets beaten by Superman for brawn, strength, and somewhat knowledge. Like Superman, he's not an idiot, but he's not a genius either. He's smarter than your average person. I'll give Superman that. And to be beat by Superman's brawn and somewhat of his intellect at the same time should infuriate Lex Luthor and develop that absolute disgust that Lex Luthor has for Superman. I mean, they do say in the film that Lex will have killed Superman at several points, but the U.S. government has questions for Superman, so he can't really do anything to him. And that's another thing. They know that Superman is an alien right away. For me, I feel like that's a plot point that you should hold on to for later in the date and then use that as a reveal. I mean, I don't know. That's just something that I would like to see developed more on in the future and how the world will react when they find out that their Superman, their hero, is not even actually a human. He's someone else. Like, yes, I understand that Superman will want to be upfront and be honest with everyone from the beginning that he's not human. I just feel you're leaving out some potential great story threads in the future, but just revealing this now, it's okay, it's fine, whatever. Hot Girl, there was really no point to have her in the film. She all she did was assassinate a head of state. Other than that, there's nothing else. Like how can she get away with assassinating a head of state, but Superman prevents a war and that's the end of the world? How exactly does this go along? Like, yes, the Day Planet exposed that Lex Luthor and this particular country were working together, but what exactly um, is the point of having her in this film? I just don't understand that personally. Um, I liked the pocket dimensions that they had in the film. I personally thought they were boom tubes. Like, oh, what are they doing with boom tubes? Until they explained it a little bit more further. So I like that concept in there and that it's a little bit unstable. Although I don't know if I agree with the idea that Lex Luthor deals with unstable designs. I don't know if I agree with that. Now, this Lex Luthor is unstable, but I don't know. For me, uh, that never was something for Lex Luthor that he was known for, that his work was shabby. Uh, a little bit on the evil, devious military side, sure, but shabby work was never something that I thought of Lex Luthor. But this film, I guess, decides to introduce that element into Lex Luthor, which kind of makes sense with the whole emotional whiny he is. So it kind of makes sense in that regard. For the rest of the film, I thought it was okay. I liked the kaiju fight. I don't understand why Superman couldn't just lift him off to the ground and take him into outer space and throw him into the sun or something like that. The Superman that we saw is a very depowered Superman, um, which is, I guess, is fine because if you have him too overpowered, then people don't get invested in the film, I guess. But I don't know. He seemed pretty weak to me. Like, there's this Superman that's right down here. Then you have the animated Superman, and then you probably have the Zack Snyder Superman, or maybe you put them, change the leveling there a little bit. But this is definitely the weakest Superman I've ever seen, without kryptonite involved. So Does it get stronger over the course of time, or is this just the level he's stuck at? We have Crypto in the film. Crypto was okay. I kind of would have got rid of Crypto after maybe the first appearance or the second appearance. You know what? No. I've gotten rid of Crypto after he gets captured, and I would have him severely injured so that he's now in bed rest and has to recover. Otherwise, Crypto was just a pain. I'm going to be honest with you. It was okay to see him a little bit, but James Gunn, just leave your dog out of it. For example, there's this whole river scene that doesn't make sense why Superman can't fly his way out of it, but he's able to use his breath as a jet propellant to get out of the situation. I don't understand why that works and you can't just fly out. That makes zero sense to me. And then you just have this dog that's just nipping around that doesn't listen. Apparently, the reason why he doesn't listen to Superman is that he isn't even his dog. He's the dog of Kara Zor-El, Supergirl. So I guess that's fine. And you have Supergirl as the most trashiest version of Supergirl, who's just going around to other planets in the galaxy with the red sun, just getting trashed. Like, you don't think that villains out there would take advantage of a Supergirl who's just getting trashed and try to hold it for ransom against Superman? Like, I guess we're lucky that hasn't happened yet, but that seems very immature. Now, does she make me want to go watch the Supergirl film? I'm curious. I'm not going to say I'm going to rule out not seeing it. I just didn't see any real reason why that would draw me in to go watch it. I'm curious to see exactly what they'll do with it, but I'm not necessarily the biggest fan. So hopefully they come up with a great story that really draws you in. Because at this moment right now, she's an immature college student who just needs a reality hit her like a freight train. That's pretty much my opinion. Overall, as I said before, I think the film is okay. I think it's fine. I have it as a 6 in my score, but I want to hear what you guys got to say. Did you love the film? Have you seen the film yet? Are you going to go see the film? Let me know down in the comment section below. Can't wait to hear from you. Y'all take care now. Bye.